Hi all, welcome to Tech Forum. In this video, let us talk about Google's robots.txt parser and matcher library in Java. Google last year open sourced the C++ robots.txt parser that was used for a long time in production system for robots.txt validation and parsing. Google recently announced the launch of two new open source robots.txt projects. The first one is Java robots.txt parser and matcher. The next one is robots.txt specification test. The robots exclusion standard, also known as the robots exclusion protocol or simply robots.txt, is a standard used by websites to communicate with web crawlers and other web robots. The standard specifies how to inform the web robot about which areas of the website should not be processed or scanned. Java robots.txt parser and matcher is the Java port of the C++ robots.txt parser. The parser is a one-to-one translation of the C++ parser in terms of functions and behavior. Google may use Java robots.txt parser implementation in their production system in future. As the project is now open sourced, the developers can easily contribute, extend and build custom tools as required. Let me show you that repository. Yeah, this is the repository Google robots.txt Java. So you can read through the details on that. Also instruction to build and execute. Also, like if you go to the src folder, there are multiple Java files. You can read through that, and also like this is the root, like is the main file, robots parser app.java. Now let me show you like how to set up this in our local machine. So for that, as a first you should be cloning this into your local this repository. Copy this URL, then let me go somewhere. You do a git clone. Yeah, do that. So I already cloned it, so I am ignoring this step. Now once that is done, you should be building the project. What we need to do is mvn clean install. Yeah, also ensure the Java 11 is enabled because this project required minimum Java 11 to build. Okay, the build is success now. So now you can execute the command. So you can find the details here also. You can execute through Maven, or you can even run through jar. We can see both option. So you should be passing some parameters. First one is like main class. This is the main class. Then arguments. What is the agent? You can specify any agent you want. Then like you can specify the URL also, which URL you are going to test against. So here you are not passing any file location, the robots.txt file location. So you can see here, if it is omitted, you should be like providing those content, the robots.txt content through standard input. Other variation is you can just pass that file path here. So let me go and execute now. So what I did is I have a sample robots.txt file here. So let me show you that. So user agent star, I'm disallowing the /search. So all others are allowed. Now if I go and execute this command, I'm going to execute this command. Along with this file path. This is one. So if you are executing through Windows, you should do some change here in the command, like -d, after that append some double quotes. Same way with this -d exe.args also. I specified the agent name. You can specify whatever the name you want. It's a random name. Then URL also random. So then file. So I am specifying my local robots.txt file. So let me go and execute this. Okay, this will says like whether the URL is allowed for this particular agent or not. So my case, like for all the agent, I'm only blocking /search URL. So all other URLs are allowed. If you see here, it is allowed. Now what I can do is maybe I will just change this URL alone. So if I go and say here, instead of that, search. Yeah, it's saying disallowed because the URL start with search is disallowed. Now other one is like you can you can modify this the parser. Also you can test it all the scenarios. So another one is like even you can test through this jar, because this is required because to enable the Java specification test module, the project. So there is a dependency with this one. So obviously, so that's what like I'm going to generate this jar file also. So to generate the jar file, you should be executing this specific command, mvn clean compile assembly colon single. This will create a single like a jar file, like that can be used. So just execute this. Now the build is success. If you go to that project, you can see a folder target. There is a file with this name, jar with dependencies, so robots.txt. So this file can be used. Now if I go and execute the other command, java, then like jar, this one, so same thing, the same parameter, so it will give the same result. Yeah, it's allowed. You can modify the project. It's again, the code is open source, so you can build your own tool based on that. Let us now see the next open source framework, robots.txt specification test. This is a testing framework for robots.txt parser developers. Means this helps the developers to build robots.txt parser tools by adhering the standard. So you can develop your own tool, and this tool will help you to test whether your tool is following the required standard robots.txt specification. You can find the project over here. Again, Google robots.txt specification test. So you can refer this, like this is based on Java again. The one different is it's having all the test cases. So against that this test cases, the parser will be validated. Go to the resources CTC. You can find all the test cases, correctness. Yeah, you can open one of them. Yeah, global rule text proto. You can see that this is the format of defining the test cases. Even you can define your own custom test cases for testing. Now if I go back, yeah, you can read through this detail, all the detail here. So what is this tool will do, then again how to set up in your local. One additional requirement for this is like you should be installing, or you need to download this protocol buffer protect, and should be installed in your Windows machine. So I downloaded, okay, yeah, so I downloaded this specific one, Win64 GIF, then just I kept it here. Yeah, so this is the, if you go to the bin, there is a protect.exe. Now I just enable the environment variable to point to this path variable. If you go to the environment variable, if you go to the path, then I just added that path. So it's available in the class path. Now let's see like how to set up in local. So for that, as a first step, you should be cloning the repository. Whatever we already seen that what step need to be followed. I already cloned that. Once cloned, you should be executing this mvn clean install command. Okay, now you do mvn clean install. Okay, the build is success. Once the build is success, then you can you can use this to test the parser, your custom parser or other standard parsers. You can refer all the example comments from here. Command example. If I open there is multiple examples are there. Example 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just you can read through that. Now I'm going and executing one of the sample command. So if you see here, like some of the argument, the class name, then command, this is the main one. Then here we are saying the my parser. So here you need to give the parser, your parser, your implementation, how to use your parser, so that this test framework will test the custom parser. Now my case, I am going to test the Java parser. So whatever I set up in my local right now. So for that, okay, this is the command you can execute, mvn exe java exe.main class, then exe.arguments. So if you see the comment, I am saying like my Java, how, like this is the same comment I used earlier to test my parser. Same comment I am copy pasting here. So little modification may be required. If you see here Java, then same thing jar, then like where my jar file, location, complete path I am giving. Then URL, that also same, but you need to add URL, then like This is the syntax you need to add. Then same thing with the agent. So then like user agent I am adding. So then file, then robots. So but if you go to the standard comment, some are different because they are saying is a user agent, but our case Java parser expecting it as a agent, so I changed it. Other than that user agent, then file also just to robots. Now if I go and run this, it will test the Java parser framework what we have against this test framework. So you can just enter. Yeah, it will show you all the status like test passed, some test may fail, and like it will show you all the status. This is same applicable for any other custom parser implementations also. Only thing you need to be changing this comment section. So what is the command to invoke your parser? So you can provide that command so that it will test against your parser. Also you can define custom test cases to test different scenarios. Okay, maybe I will stop it here. So it will test, it's having multiple test cases. It will test all those test cases and show the result. Even you can try other commands like some variations are there. So you can explore on that. This is useful now for developers to build custom robots.txt parser and matcher tools, even in different programming languages. Also, like this as is open source, developers can contribute also. The robots.txt specification test framework helps us to test the custom framework against the robots.txt standard. With that, you can ensure the custom framework is working as expected. Thanks all for watching the video. See you in the next video.